make sure that I got enough battery on my have enough battery on my Wi-Fi thing. Well, I forgot I forgot how you call it. uh, on my portable Wi-Fi. There you go. Anyway, router. I found it. All right. So this video was supposed to be about. This video was supposed to be about humiliation ritual, right? Because after I finished the previous video, which was about the couple in Michigan and how they were legally justified to pull their weapon, right? And then I wanted to talk about the humiliation ritual that is going on currently in this country. But I wanted to talk about something a little bit more, more personal, and to also, and besides, I don't have to do much editing because I want to take a break from editing right now. So let's talk about civility. Civil. Why is it necessary? Why do we need to be civil to one another? And then what does that actually mean? How do you even describe it? So in the conversation or in the back and forth that me and Truthteacher were having, and he mentioned being civil to one another a lot, and sometimes it does sound more like vague terms, right? And what I mean by this is that it might sound like, yeah, civility, you need that, of course you do, but is it civility or is it domination? So I remember it was like I think about over a year ago. I believe it was my first winter as a trucker, right? And then so I went to the shipper where I'm still new at this and all that stuff. And then apparently there's this thing you can actually you run your truck under, and then it would actually clear the snow off of your trailer. I've never used it before. I don't even know that thing existed. So as I'm trying to make my way to an empty parking spot so I can actually park the trailer, drop it, and then go about my merry way. So this jockey came up to me and be like, "Are you just gonna drop the trailer like that?" So I didn't know what he means. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, with all that snow on top of it, right? So he was a bit rough, right? With all that snow on top of it. I'm like, yeah. Because, at that point, I didn't like the way he was talking to me, right? Straight up be like, yo, with all that snow on top of it. I'm like, yeah, it's not my fucking job. What do you want me to do? Grab a ladder, get on top of the fucking thing, and then clear the snow and shit like that, make it look all pretty for you so I can drop it off? And that was my thinking. But the way he approached me now put me on the defensive. And then now I have to assert my dominance to make it clear to him that I did not appreciate the way he was talking to me. So then he shook his head and then fuck off. Right. And then I proceed, try to find a parking spot to actually park, the trailer. And then another yard jockey came up to me. This time it was a supervisor. And then she was like, she asked me, I'm like, hey, would it be possible if you could remove the snow off the trailer? Right? She asked me, and I'm like, and I like the guy earlier told me that, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it because I don't even have a ladder. Like, what do you want me to do? Right? And of course, I'm still a rookie. And then she kind of smiled and she was like, no, we have a machine where you actually drive underneath it, and then they would press a button, they would actually clear the snow. And I'm like, oh, that's what the hell he meant, right? And then she asked me how long I've been driving. I told her, and then she was like, no, I don't think that's what he meant, right? So, all right, cool. So, turn around, went to the machine, clear that shit up, and then so I guess the supervisor had a chat with this dude, right? And then as he's driving around, he just beeped the horn and then waved at me and stuff like that, right? So after I parked my truck and I called him over, and then and I told him, I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you meant, man. And he was like, look, I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't know how to I don't know how to express myself, and so then I just say things and I don't even know how people are gonna take it. I'm like, no, listen, look, I get it. I didn't know what you mean neither. So I'm sorry for being a dick. I didn't mean to. We shook hands. That's it. So it's like if the whole world operated like that, yeah, it would have been great. It would have been perfect. So we both recognized there was a wrong that had occurred, and then we both remedied that. However, without someone in the middle to kind of buffer that conflict, then it would have just, it probably wouldn't been resolved. I would have probably left the shipper thinking that the guy was a dick, and then he probably would have probably think the same about me, right? But someone was actually came through and mediate the situation. Obviously, you don't always need a mediator to resolve your conflict. I'll give you another example. Um, I was running low on my hours, and then I found me a nice little cozy parking spot where a whole bunch of trucks, and not trucks, big old, um, yeah, it's a big enough lot to park my truck. And then so I stay over the night. The next day, somebody knock on my door, do, right? So almost woke me up because I didn't have to wake up that early. I'm like, who the fuck knocking like the fucking police or something? Look, truckers don't like when you just knock into their door and just disturb their rest. That's very annoying to us. So anyway, so got off the sleeper and then see who the hell's knocking. It was the security guard from the plaza, right? And I rolled down my window, and automatically he just started giving me an attitude, right? He was like, "You're not supposed to be parking in here," and I'm sick and tired of constantly having to do that and all that stuff, right? Just automatically started going off, and I just stared at him. Just maintained the eye contact to the point that he started being uncomfortable, right? And then he was like, "All right, if you're not out of here by like 5 minutes, then I'm gonna have to call the police and they will actually get you a tow truck." And I was like, "Yo, dude, what the fuck is your problem, man?" Right? And I said like that, "What the fuck is your problem?" And he was like, "No, I'm just frustrated if every time I have to keep having to do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's the first time you and I ever cross paths. This is the first time we ever talk. So then what the hell does your interaction with other truckers have to do with me?" Right? And he was like, "Because I have to do that all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, there was no sign. I didn't see anything. So then once again, what the hell does that have to do with me?" And then when he realized that I'm not letting off, right? And then he just took a deep breath. He's like, "Look, man, like it's just I'm frustrated having to do that." I'm like, so then I also soften up. And I say, "Look, I understand why, I don't want to make your job harder either and stuff like that, right? But to try to talk to me the way you're talking to me, as if like I should have known what's going on, and I didn't see any type of sign that said you're not supposed to park there. And if there was a sign, then you guys need to make it bigger. And then the fact that he no longer have the same attitude that he started off with, and then even say that, like, he's just being frustrated, explain his frustration to me, then that's when I apologize. But had he kept the same attitude, I wouldn't. I apologized. He apologized. And then he was like, oh, whenever you get a chance, just like don't stay for too long. I'm like, all right, cool. I got to do my pre-trip. So ended up being more than like probably like 20 minutes and all that shit. So he didn't bug me anymore. So I say that to say this. One of the things that stood out to me with Truthteacher, when he said that all, with the confrontation that happened in Michigan with the white couple, ended up having to pull a gun on this black mother, right? And one of the things that stood out to me, he kept saying that all of that could have been avoided had she just apologized. All of that could have been avoided had she just apologized. That is a fair point. Now, the devil's in the details. Civility. What is the point of being civil to one another? What is the purpose of it? From an esoteric perspective, we are all tradesmen. We are all merchants. What are we trading? We're trading our energy. We are trading our services. We are trading our knowledge, our discussion, our attention. We are the traders. We bargain with each other. We are our own entity. We are our own private corporation. We are each at a molecular level. We are business people. We all have something to offer. Now, having what to offer, it all depends on who's willing to actually see the value into what you have to offer. So that's why, despite what we have gone through in life, despite whatever hardship that we have gone through, then we try to place ourselves in a position which others can actually see the value within ourselves. So if I'm walking, and let's say me and you, Truthteacher, right? I didn't know you, you didn't know me, right? And I'm walking around and I accidentally bump you. And even before I'm gonna say sorry, started cussing me out, get in my face, telling me that, yo, why the fuck you bump into me, man? Dude, I just brought that fucking pair of shoes, man. What the fuck is wrong with you, nigga? Right? You do all that shit. Now, when you say sorry to someone, right, that apology was supposed to serve as a compensation from a wrong being done. That apology served as a compensation from a wrong being done, whether it's malicious or not. So then, therefore, me bumping into you would have been me. You kind of lose your balance a little bit. It would be like a bruise to your ego or a bruise to your pride or something like that, right? And then me saying that, oh shoot, my bad, dude, that would be a compensation for the harm I just done to you. But the second you actually start to berate me, calling me out of my name, that's the second I no longer owe you an apology anymore. Because you've already took your compensation by force by now cussing me out. You already took your compensation by force by now saying something that is derogatory towards me, right? And then I find it disrespectful. So then I either have two choices. I can now feel like I've been taken advantage of and then now insult back, which escalate the situation, or I just looked at you funny and then just keep it moving. Because I no longer owe you an apology. The second you cuss me out or the second you come at me wrong, I no longer owe you that apology. And what we looked at in the video is an angry mother and with her daughter berating a pregnant woman, demanding an apology, despite the fact that they had already got compensated. They have already been compensated for any wrongdoing that happened the moment they started berating that woman. When that happened, that pregnant chick no longer owed them any apology. So, why is it necessary? Why is civility necessary? Like I said, we try to actually show others that we have something of value to offer. You know, whether a potential business partner, whether it's networking, whether it's a whole bunch of stuff, right? Customer service, potential client, all that shit. Your next booty call, you name it, right? So then what we put out into the world is what we receive back. So when we want to talk about systematic racism and how black people can't get ahead and all that other stuff, right? Or black on black crime in the neighborhood, all this other crazy shit. But we constantly fail to look at the details on how we treat one another. And in turn, once we get out of that toxic environment, how we then treat other people that don't have the same mentality as you, that don't have the same, or quote unquote, went through the same struggle as you. So we believe it's perfectly normal to cuss each other out, to say a whole bunch of shit, because what? That's what people do in an argument. We constantly believe that it's okay to do all of that stuff, but not realizing that is the main underlying reason why the black on black crime is so high. Has nothing to do with gun, has nothing to do with a whole bunch of other crap. Is when one entity now demand a price that is so high of compensation about their pride, then they're willing to go to the extreme measure to extract that price out of the individual which they are confronting. So which means that had I bump into you, right, your price is so high. Not only you were able to cuss me out, not only you were able to tell me a whole bunch of shit, and now you're still willing to get an apology, to extract an apology out of me regardless of the cause. That means I'm going to berate you, I'm going to call your name, I'm going to threaten to whoop your ass, I'm going to do a whole bunch of shit because you feel so insulted that I've actually bumped into you. Now you're willing to threaten to beat my ass because that's the price you want to have. It's no longer about amending a wrong. It's now about you trying to humiliate someone else because the illusion of your ego, it's so low. The only time you could feel like somebody is when you're actually stepping on top of another person. That is the price that we see that has been paid every time a black person shoots someone else for stepping on their sneakers. Or better yet, a black person gets shot after someone step onto their shoes and then demand apology or demand some sort of transaction, emotional transaction that the other person wasn't willing to give. Civility is very important. Because it doesn't just stop there when it comes to confrontation, whether it's physical or verbal confrontation. It doesn't just stop there. It also trickles down to the way we do business. When we have a store, as a black owner, we have a store, we want to say that way, yeah, a black on black, black owned businesses. And then people come into your store not respecting your facility, feeling entitled to your facility, and willing to disrespect you, right? Or it could go the other way around. When the service that you are providing your customers, it is so low of value that they don't want to spend any money on your store. No good customer service. You look at people as if like they ain't shit. All that generate as to why it's very hard for us to actually succeed economically as black people. That's why we demand a seat at the table of other culture, what they have built. We demand them to actually hire us. We demand them to actually cow down to our ideology. We demand complete subjugation from other people. We demand as if the world owes us something. The world doesn't owe us shit. The world doesn't owe me shit. The world doesn't owe you shit. And anybody else that actually want to use racism, sexism, feminism, MGTOWism, whatever the fuck they want to use as to why they are in the position that they are right now, the world doesn't owe you anything. Nothing. Whatever you have to trade is your value that you have as a human being. And when you are trying to take by force what you believe that is owed to you, such as submission from someone else, because, the white sin, the white guilt, you owe me the ability to treat you like shit. That sense of entitlement where you expect other races to cow down to you, to see things your way, to believe in this whole plight of, we're down because of racism, where everybody else tend to somewhat find a way to succeed, to actually show the value which they have so they can actually make those transactions with other cultures as well. That's why it is so important to be civil. Civility works both ways. It doesn't just work in one end, where you think you can actually just extract respect, but you don't know how to give it back. A wise man once said, the whole I have a dream, that people will be treated based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. But yet, we are going backward. All we have now is a whole bunch of people that want to be treated simply based on the color of their skin. They want to use the color of their skin as justification, so then they can do whatever the fuck they want to do. And then we have intelligent brothers, intelligent people excusing those behaviors because they share skin tone. Excusing those type of mentality, that type of low vibration, that type of low thinking mentality, because they share a skin color. Think about it. Now, before I continue, listen, to the mental midget that believe he wants to be a part of this conversation. Listen, dude, you don't have a stool tall enough to actually reach that level of comprehension for you to be part of this intellectual exchange. You're not. You don't have any of that tool in your arsenal to be able to reach that level of comprehension for your opinion to be valid any type of way. So until I run out of toilet paper, until I need something to, wipe with, and that's when I'll probably throw some attention your way. Until then, just relax. I give you permission to swing up. Don't worry. I got on my knee pad. So can't hurt that much. But anyway, now back to Truthteacher. Why do you think I'm actually, I'm taking my time to address you and all these details? I'm going layer by layer, and it's like this whole back and forth that we're doing. Why do you think that is so important to me? Obviously, if I didn't think highly of you, I wouldn't give a shit. I would have just, make a response, troll you, move on. Like I do to all the other dumbasses. I just flank something at them. But I see in you have a lot of things of great value that you have to offer. Just like that have a lot of things of great value that I have to offer. So then, despite our great disagreement about this subject, we're still treating each other with respect. Even when we end up breaking each other's balls or fucking say something that might get on each other's nerves. It might happen. And honestly, hey, I don't know how you're going to react by the time that I talk about all this shit. I could have easily called you. Of course, I could. Could call you up, be like, dude, you all right, man? And then we talk about it over the phone. Why don't I do that? It's simple. Because I still want to be able to tell you my perspective and actually do my research and go through great length and details so you can understand my perspective. I'm not saying that you will agree with it at the end of the day. You're probably not. Just like I'm not going to agree with you at the end of the day about some of the things that you see, some of the way that you see things. And that's okay. Whether I'm right or whether you're right, only time will tell. Because sometimes we want the world to be a certain way so bad that we refuse to accept certain reality about our environment, certain reality about how the world actually is. And of course, all of our realities are different. But based on my reality, I have learned that true currency, true wealth is not what you have on your bank account. It's not. Because I've been broke before. Right? And now I'm okay. Financially, I'm stable. No stress in that. And probably in 10 years, I'll definitely know what it feels like to be financially independent. But all of that shit to me, that's not really true wealth. It's not. That's not true currency. You know what I consider true currency? People, trust, respect. To me, that is something that is exchangeable. That is something of value that I regard greatly. Knowledge. That is wealth to me. That is currency to me. Trust in you. I trust that regardless how this conversation goes about, I trust you enough that you're gonna still remain my friend after all the shit is over. And I hope that you trust me that after all this shit happened, that I'm still gonna be your friend. Trust. Exchange of the value. You have great value to me. Your knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge in that head, man. That big ass head of yours. You have a lot of knowledge. Even when listen, even when I took a shot at you, right? About the whole that the outfit that you were wearing, right? I just said it just to have a laugh, and then you came back and said some shit like, apparently, this is not African outfit or something like that. It's some Egyptian shit, and I'm like, my nigga. See, even when I'm having fun with shit like that, right? You still teaching me something new. Whatever you called it and stuff like that. I didn't know the name. I didn't know what the fuck it is. To me, it's like, okay, it looks like an indigenous outfit, and seems to be like some type of shit that I don't want to call you the word that you don't want to be called. Seems like something people of great interest in African culture would wear. There you go. That's better. So then, therefore, I throw it out there and be like, yeah, you having that uniform on. Like, dude, all the time I used to call you somewhat pro whatever, which the name that shall not be named. When I used to call you that, there was no malice in my heart, man, whatsoever, bro. I was actually like, I said it out of pride. I said it knowing that, dude, I got a friend that has a lot of knowledge when it comes to African culture, when it comes to indigenous culture, when it comes to this type of culture. Dude, that is like your knowledge in these things. I see you take great pride in it. You take great pride in it, and you actually love sharing it to people. Hence the name, Truthteacher. So that is something of value to exchanged. That is something of value, but only to those that see the value in it. Because some people don't care about that. Some people don't give a fuck about what you have in your head. I do. Because I value knowledge. So then, therefore, I value you because of that. So then, therefore, despite the fact that we have this disagreement, I'm still willing to go through length to make sure that we have a great conversation about it. To me, that's a challenge. Yeah, of course. I could just stop talking about it and just call you up. Be like, you know what, Truthteacher? We just agreed to disagree. Fuck it. All right? Why am I doing this in public? Why does it feel like we strongly disagree with each other and everybody knows, everybody's watching? If this shit is this shit gonna turn left? At which point that Art is gonna start acting like an asshole to his friend? At which point Truthteacher gonna start acting like an asshole to his friend? At what point? And to me, this experience that we're having, this exchange of ideology that we're having, it's fucking great for the culture. To show people that, yes, you can strongly disagree with someone. You can strongly disagree with someone, right? But at the end of the day, you still have a great level of respect for them. You will not betray their trust. You will not go out of their way to do some shit that is very malicious to them. And that is something I believe that a lot of people can learn that from that. That's why I haven't called you in private, be like, hey, just spat shit up and no. Because I also trust you that you are mentally strong enough to take my pushback. Just like I'm mentally strong enough to take your pushback. People need to see shit like that happen. Conflict resolution. That's why I'm just going all out of my way just to fucking do that shit. That's it. At the end of the day, you might believe that you're right. Okay. Time will tell. Because then the reality is, if I'm being confronted by someone, I'm not gonna give a shit about their plight, their historical trauma, none of that shit. I'm not. I'm gonna deal with the person that is in front of me. I'm gonna deal with the present. Is this person a threat? Is this person try to defame me? Is this person try to humiliate me? Is this person try to bully me? Is this person trying to violate me? That's what I'm dealing with. I'm not thinking about their whatever environment and shit. I'm not. So people may say that when it comes to the discussion, I'm biased. Damn right, I'm fucking biased. And I can tell you exactly where my bias comes from in that particular scenario. In that scenario in Michigan. This is where my bias comes from. I would hate to have my family in the world where they're not supposed to stand up for themselves. They can be berated, they can be degraded, they can even, someone can even bring harm upon them. And they can do nothing about it or stand up to their attacker just because they're white and the attacker happens to be black. To me, that's not equality, that's special treatment. Just like I wouldn't want to be in a position where some white person's berating me, doing a whole bunch of shit, and I don't fucking stand up to them. No, I don't believe that shit. So that's why when I see bullshit, I call it out, regardless where it's coming from. Whether it's coming from people that looks like me or people that don't look like me. Because I try to judge people based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. So now that I have established that I am biased, it's up to you whether or not you can realize what's going on with you. Like I said, I don't expect us to agree with that. You can claim that I'm wrong. Time will tell. Time will tell whether or not you are being emotionally manipulated in this current climate. Because they want people to be emotional. The powers that be, right? Those who actually move the pieces on the board, they don't care what your belief system are. They don't. They want to know just enough about it, so then they know which string to pull. And then when you think that you are actually moving out of your own volition, you are actually somebody else's puppet. Now, tension's high, man. All this talk about defunding the police, yet at the same time, you're not allowed to be packing to where to have your guns. People are getting bold, brazier. Am I gonna be sitting around and try to fight every motherfucker that want to fight me? Dude, I'm 30 something fucking years old, man. You really think I got time to, like, you know, let's say somebody slap me, pow, right? And I'm like, hold on. Now I can finally pull my gun out because, you were unarmed, so I couldn't do that before. Or do you think that once they start hitting you, they're not gonna stop until you just like bawling like a little whatever, right? Bruises and all that shit, and then they go through about their business. Like, yeah, I just whooped this motherfucker's ass real quick, right? Right? And then, dapping their partner and all that shit because it's fun for them. It's fun trying to actually desecrate somebody. It's fun for them to be able to, what you call it, like violate someone's right just because they don't agree with them. I mean, look at some of the shit that's happening right now. People get doxxed. They get threatened. Yeah, I gotta use violence and intimidation because I don't like what he said. So I'm gonna have to, put his address out there. So then other crazy people can go and find him because I don't like the way he talks about us. Right, good. Do you see how a lot of these guys sounds like bitches? Do you see how a lot of these guys sounds like bitches? Because somebody don't agree with their ideology. And they can't turn that off. They simply want to be able to destroy someone's livelihood, bring harm upon someone, just because they disagree with their ideology. So whatever we're doing right now, it's good. It's good for the culture. It's good so people can actually see conflict resolution, how grown fucking men resolve problems, resolve disagreement, resolve argument. This is good. So when I reach out to you on Instagram and I said that, we're gladiators, man, just put your gladiator thing on and shit like that. It's going to be fun. I meant it. This is fun. Not because I'm trying to troll you, not because I'm trying to do, nah, man, I don't. Look, I got a lot of respect for you, bro. I got a lot of respect for you. And I hope once all this shit is over, I'm gonna give you a call, man. We just talk about this shit, shoot the shit, whatever. Look, I miss you, man. But this is good. This conflict that we're having, it's fucking great. And I love it. So, like I said, I'm gonna make a few more videos and stuff like that. And I might not have the chance to respond to the other ones, but the video that you pull out, and specifically this thing happened in Michigan. And then once I'm done, I'll give you a call. I saw a couple of your comments on my thread. Look, I'm sorry you're going through some time right now, but your mom and all this shit. But it'll be all right, man. It'll be good. All right. Like I said, I'm not gonna give you a call right now, but I will. Anyway, so this is our Banaka. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna drop this right now, and then the other video about the laws and how this chick was justifiable, because I still have to do some editing. Then that's gonna be coming out soon. Well, probably after the weekend or something like that, because editing is a pain in the ass. But I'm gonna drop this shit tonight. All right. Anyway, so share, like, comment, subscribe. All right, Truth Teacher. We'll talk later, man. Peace.